Hello and very good evening, everyone. I hope I am audible and you can all see the screen and I'm visible as well. Well, in case you are able to see me and hear me properly, let us just give me a thumbs up on the chat box and we can start off with the program. A very warm welcome to this 5-week PSM punch program. In these 5 weeks, this is the schedule. A lot of students had asked me about the schedule for the program beta. This is the schedule of the classes. On 29th of March, we already have talked about all the important updates in communicable disease, non-communicable disease, and the national health programs. Then on 5th of April, we have already discussed these. These two sessions have already been done on the mother-child health, vaccines, RCH program updates, and RMNCH+AN. And today we are going to talk about a very important and very frequently asked aspect from INICET exams, nutrition. This whole program, it is primarily for the students who are aspiring for the INICET exams. And of course, it may be important for the students who are aspiring for the FMG exams and the UPSC exams as well. But very importantly, this program is only mainly for the students who are aspiring for the INICET upcoming exams. So beta, this is a 5-week PSM punch program. In these 5 weeks, every Wednesday, these are I have taken as PSM Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, we'll be meeting together at around 9 p.m. in the night. And today's session, I would like to warn you that today's session will be a slightly longer sessions. Normally, I take 2-hour sessions. So today's session will be 2-hour plus sessions because a lot of questions are asked from the nutrition chapter. Also, because INICET exam is just around the corner, many students ask me like how to prepare for the INICET exam. One of the most important and dreaded area in INICET is about biostats. So beta, if you go to my channel, of course you might be on my YouTube channel right now. If you go to my channel, this is the logo of the channel. You will see a small green color screen, and this you will see as the biostats playlist. Beta, this is the playlist. Go to the playlist section. In the playlist, you will find the PSM punch, all the previous videos. You will also find PSM revision modules for latecomers. Then last year, for NEET exams, I had completed full PSM in 7 modules. That was the PSM Indradhanush scheme. So PSM Indradhanush, there was 7. Indradhanush has 7 colors. So in 7 lectures, I had completed gradually community medicine. Then we have a special playlist on doubt solving, infectious disease, COVID, recent updates, immunization, and this is what I wanted you to focus on. This is what I wanted you to focus on. This is Biostats Simplified. Go to this playlist. Every day, beta, I get questions from you on my Telegram channel regarding biostats. Biostats, all the questions have already been discussed in this Biostats Simplified playlist. So make sure that you just visit this playlist and it will solve most of your controversies. So today's topic, let us start the today's session. The today's session, it is primarily to focus on nutrition beta. Nutrition, every year you get a lot of questions on nutrition as far as the AIMS exam, INICET exams are concerned. So let me just take a very quick walk through nutrition, environment, entomology, miscellaneous chapters, and so on and so forth. So these are just the resources that you should be using whenever you are preparing for any entrance exam, in case you have subscribed to the Marrow app. So in case you are a Marrow subscriber, of course, this is a good news for everybody who's watching me right now, that we now are proud to say that Marrow has launched its Marrow 6.5 edition. Beta, what is the 6.5 edition? It is simple updates. It is updates simplified. Updates simplified. So you have on your Marrow application your favorite faculties from surgery, Dr. Rohan sir, you have pharmacology, Dr. Ranjan sir, obs and gynae, Dr. Sakshi ma'am, pediatrics, Dr. Singaram sir. Everybody has got together and updated you, and all the previous video 6, edition 6 modules, they stay as they are, and the 6.5 is simple updates, updating your previous notes. Okay, so these are the the resources that you should be using. All the doubts should be there on Telegram group, Links group, Instagram profile, YouTube video channel I just now showed you, and this is the website psmsimplified.com. Let us now start with the first topic of the day about nutrition. First MCQ, which of the following is a conditioning influence for nutrition? This is a previous year MCQ from chapter of nutrition from INICET exams. So if you talk about this, which of the following is a conditioning influence for malnutrition? Which of the following is conditioning influence for malnutrition? Child rearing, infectious disease, food habits, and socioeconomic factors. याद हो गया आंसर देख लेंगे. Absolutely correct. Answer is infectious diseases. Shriyam पूछ रहे हैं, is it necessary to watch those revision videos before INICET May exam as the time is less? Of course, as far as community medicine, my subject is concerned, I have taken in mind that I should not overburden you. This whole thing, I think it's around 2 hours, less than 2 hours session for updates in community medicine. Even if you watch at 2x speed, you will be benefited. But more than benefited, more than updates, it will give you a very quick review about things which have dynamically changed over time. So you can just watch them, and I think they might help you from community medicine point of view. Of course, there are a lot of updates from surgery, from gynae, other subjects. You can just weigh that what is your preparation level. From community medicine, yes, I would advise you to at least spend 1.5 hours. इससे ऊपर तो ज़्यादा time नहीं लगेगा. You just go through that video on 2x speed if you have already watched the previous edition 6 video modules. That is just an update. So, beta, what are the conditioning influences for malnutrition? Conditioning influence क्या होता है? What do you mean by conditioning influences? If you talk about malnutrition can be affected by, why would I go malnourished? If I am a person, if I am a child, why would I go malnourished? मेरे को malnourishment क्यों होगी? या तो मेरे parents, if my parents are very poor, they cannot afford food. This is one of the most important and one of the very important factors on ecological level. What the government can do, that is about the socio-economic factors. Next is very important is the socio-economic factors. Second is I may get malnourished if in case there were less health services available. If I live in a country or I live in a city where there is no PHC, where there is no health center, where there is no doctor, so whenever I get sick, because I'm a human, I may get sick. Whenever I get sick, there is no there's no chance for me to come back to retain my healthy lifestyle again after illness. So that funda of rehabilitation, that is missing. That is again second most important, that the health services should be there. First is very important, one of the most basic conditioning influence, one of the most basic influence for malnutrition is socioeconomic factors. Second is health services. Third comes the conditioning influence. This is level 3, that other infectious disease, if there are so many infections, they might be conditioning influences. And then you have is the cultural factors. So remember, why would a person get malnourishment? One is because socioeconomic problems, second is health service, third is conditioning influences, and fourth is cultural factors. Very simple, these are the reasons why people get malnourishment. So reasons for malnourishment: conditioning influence, that is talking about infectious disease. Child rearing comes under the cultural factors. Food habit comes under the cultural factors. About the nutritional factors, socioeconomic is poverty. Coming to the next MCQ. So today's session will be slightly longer session. I have around 30-40 MCQs for you. So I want to discuss every MCQ because there are so many areas in nutrition. I can't say that you study this. Okay. So anyways, I'll try my best to cover maximum questions for you guys. Very quickly, keep on answering. I want you to be a little active on the chat box also. That keeps me also motivated. अच्छा लगता है देखने में that at least you are giving wrong answers or right answers, whatever it could be. Next MCQ, which of the following statement is not correct? Energy for sedentary worker female is 1660 calories per day. RDA, that is recommended dietary allowance for proteins, is 0.83 grams per kg per day. Age for reference female is 19 to 39 years, and RDA for dietary fibers is 130 milligrams per day. What do you think is the correct answer? Which is not correct? Galat wala ढूंढना है ना. What do you think is not correct answer? What do you think is not correct answer? So some students are saying B, FOMO Medico. Okay, that message is gone. Option C, Noshin. Kalpana says D. D. We have Shriyam saying B. Beta, please note that very important. This is a 5-star MCQ. Let's very quickly just cruise through important elements in nutrition. Look at the screen. D. Sure. Abhinandan Maiti. Very nice, beta. Abhinandan. Very nice. You are answering very nicely. Let us look at a very cruise through, very quick review about nutrition, chapter about nutrition. Nutrition. First MCQ to remember is what is the energy allowance? What is the energy allowance? What is the energy allowance? Beta, for energy for sedentary worker male, remember it is 2100. For female, it is 1660. And then if you add 400 to this, if you add 500 and then you add 600, then this will become as moderate and heavy worker. In 2100, you add 600 and then you add 700. So you just keep on adding these numbers. So remember, for female, it is 1660. For males, it is 2110. Next is you need to remember about the normal BMI range. Very important. This can be asked that the normal BMI range is 185 to 22.9 kilograms per meter square, because that is what it is. And what is the reference body weight in case of males? Males should be weighing 65 kilograms. There it is. And females should be weighing 55 kilograms. That is what is the reference male, reference female. Next is talking about the recommended dietary allowance. This is a 7-star slide for you, very frequently asked in your exam. इस slide को बेटा थोड़ा सा याद करके जाना. You take a screenshot of this slide and make sure that you remember this. Protein should be 0.83 grams per kg per day. 0.8 grams per kg per day. What is the best protein quality indicator? It is DIAAS, digestible indispensable amino acid score. What is the amount of visible fat intake? It should be ranging from something around 25 to something around 40 grams a day. Female is 20 to 30. So remember, roughly around 20 to 40 grams. That is what you can remember. 20 to 40 grams is amount of fat intake which is allowed. Carbohydrate should be 130 milligrams a day. In case of pregnancy, it increases to 175 grams a day. Dietary fiber should be 40 grams per 2000 calories. This is the one which is the only one, this is the only nutrient which is not taken per day. It is taken based on the amount of calories you consumed. You eat more, you need more dietary fiber. You eat less, you need less dietary fibers. So dietary fibers, very nice Abhinandan Maiti, that dietary fibers should be 40 grams per 2000 kilocalories per day, and carbohydrate should be 130 milligrams a day. This is just a very quick review on this. So energy, coming back to the MCQ, energy for sedentary worker female is 1660 kilograms a day. What do you think? This is true or false? This is absolutely true. The recommended dietary allowance for proteins is 0.83 grams per kg per day. What do you think? This is true or false? This is absolutely true again. Age for reference female is 19 to 39 years. This is changed. It was earlier 20 to 40 years. Now it has taken to 19 to 39 years. So this can also be asked in your exam. This is also true. Which of the following is incorrect? Beta, the best answer that you would mark it for your exam, I think I would like to mark the recommended dietary allowance for dietary fiber is not 130 milligrams a day. It is 40 milligrams, 40 grams of, you need 40 grams of dietary fiber per 2000 calories that we take up every day. So absolutely correct. Let us move to the next MCQ. Let us move to the next MCQ. Okay. So what do you think about this MCQ? What do you think about this MCQ? A 30-year-old male member of the family is presenting with complaints of diarrhea, knee edema, ascites. On investigation, it came to know that the mustard oil is the main item in the grocery. What is the possible diagnosis? So now the keyword over here that you would like to mark is about the mustard oil. So it talks about the mustard oil in grocery. What is the most probable diagnosis? What do you think is the most probable diagnosis? What do you think is the most probable diagnosis? So I think whenever you get a question on mustard oil, you should be remembering that they are going to talk about mustard oil, they are going to talk about epidemic dropsy. They are going to talk about epidemic dropsy. Please note, I think everybody has answered this correctly. Very nice. It's a very super duper easy MCQ. You don't need to memorize anything. Very salient points you would like to remember about epidemic dropsy. Please note, we are talking about the epidemic dropsy. What is epidemic dropsy? Beta, you can remember this word epidemic dropsy by the word drop. Drop means to drop. That means it is liquid. I have remembered this word as liquid. Liquid is drop. Drop is fluid. Fluid is liquid, right? So just remember toxin is sanguinarine. You can remember marine. You can remember neer. Neer is water. Neer is liquid, right? So sanguinarine. Sanguinarine, this is also liquid. The food product is a liquid, that is mustard oil. It is by Argemone mexicana adulteration. What are the features? There is liquid everywhere. There is fluid in the body. There is fluid in the eyes, glaucoma. There is fluid in my heart, congestive cardiac failure. There is fluid in my stomach. There is ascites. There is fluid in my feet also. There is edema. There is fluid in the stools also. There is diarrhea. There is fluid everywhere. Remember, drop of oil. Shriyam, very nice. So what is the management? The management is to do de-weeding of the fields, or you can test for nitric acid chromatography test. This is just a very quick screenshot for you. Take a screenshot of this. I'm not going to explain anything over here. There's just a very quick screenshot. I can assure you at least one MCQ on this. This is a 10-star MCQ, very important MCQ table. You need to remember neurolathyrism, aflatoxicosis, ergotism, epidemic dropsy. Sorry for the logo. The logo has shifted. Sorry. Then is epidemic dropsy, and then is endemic ascites. So remember about each one of them and make sure you do not get this question wrong. These are simple, easy questions. Yellow flower, absolutely correct, beta. Very nice that you guys remember all the salient points. Yellow flower, Ratan Jaswal says yellow flower. Bilkul theek, Ratan Jaswal, shabash. Let us go to the next MCQ. Make sure that you take a screenshot. Beta, whatever I'm telling you is 7-star. इनका screenshots लेके make sure that you keep them in your phone. Phone में देखते रहो. इनके easy रहेगा. Before your exam, just scroll through your photos. So what I have done in my phone is I have made chapters in, of course, I'm dealing with community medicine, right? You're dealing with 20 subjects. So what you can do is in your phone, you can make in the gallery, जहाँ पे photos होती है ना, वहाँ पे, of course, you should keep photos of your parents, about your brother, sister, and your boyfriend, girlfriend. सबकी photo तो रख लेना, but subjects की भी photo रखना. What you can do is you can make different folders. You can make a folder for anatomy. You can make a folder for biochemistry. Make a folder for microbiology. These are high yield. भूल जाते हैं ना ये subject. Make a folder for them, and whatever teacher tells you about flashcards, about memorizing points, Facebook पे किसी ने डाला, Insta पे डाला, Telegram में डाला, whatever these guys are doing, whatever these faculties are doing, उसको बस टक, you just keep on storing. And by the end of the day, by end of your 6 months, 5 months of preparation time, you will realize that you have built a very good repository of all the flashcards. So make sure that you do this. This is one of the photos that should go into the flashcard. Let us go to the next MCQ. A man from Chhattisgarh presents with muscle weakness, leg spasms, pure motor weakness. Which of the following is the most appropriate history to be elicited in this patient? This is again a previous year direct MCQ. So this patient is presenting with muscle weakness. There is leg spasms, poor motor weakness. Motor weakness means that we are talking about the lower motor neuron problem. Most appropriate history to be elicited. This is a case, this looks like a case of dietary problem. So there is which dietary problem you're going to take. Absolutely correct answer is a dietary problem. Which diet we are going to ask about? Lathyrus sativus. Beta, what is Lathyrus sativus? Lathyrus sativus is a pulse. It is a dal. It is a pulse. It is a dal. And just a few words about dal and pulse, because recently there has been Government of India interest on Lathyrus sativus also. I hope everybody knows that year 2023 that has been declared as the year of millets. Year 2023 it has been declared as the year of millets. Now millets are super duper very good high nutritional foods. Millet is like sorghum, millet is like rye, millet is small grains. So kuttu and all these jowar, all these are millets. So millets, you should remember, millets 2023 is the year of millets. Millet is very easy to produce. It is low cost and it is very high in nutrition. It takes less water than rice, around 6 to 7 times lesser water than rice, and it grows very quickly. So it is low cost, good for the farmers, and it is highly nutritious food. It is super high in dietary fibers, it is super high in antioxidants. So therefore we say that millets, it's a very good nutritious food, right? Now this dal is also kind of important from public health point of view, because this dal, it is also low cost. It is low cost. It is very less cost for a farmer to grow this dal. So people tend to grow this dal, but people, once they grow this dal, because it is low cost, it is sold at a very low price, and because it is sold at a low price, people tend to purchase it more. And because neurolathyrism, please note that what is neurolathyrism? Neurolathyrism is basically a CNS problem. It is a lower motor neuron type of disease. It is a lower motor neuron type of disease. The most common joint which is affected, is the knee joint and the hip joint. Hip joint and the knee joint, the first to be affected is the hip joint, but also the knee joint. And very frequently the problem will be that the patient will not be able to stand up. So please note that this is neurolathyrism. It can be asked very frequently in your exam. Let me just have a look at what you guys are saying. You guys are saying that the answer is kesui dal. Absolutely correct. Abhinandan, Shriyam, Kalpana, Sneha, very nice beta. Rich in iron also. Which one is rich in iron? Yes, millets are rich in iron as well. So millets are rich in iron also. Let us move to the next MCQ. For applied nutrition program, seeds and manure supply under school health services has been done by. What do you think? I think there was a small lag. Yeah, there was a small problem in the connection, but now we have reconnected. I don't know. It just went off the grid. Anyways, let's come back. These are technology problems. So from my side, the stream is very nice. For applied nutrition program, seeds and manure supply under the school health services has been done by. Answer is, it is a previous year MCQ. Yes, absolutely correct. It is a NEET MCQ. It is a previous year MCQ, previous year question. So yes, the answer is it is UNICEF. It is UNICEF. It has been supplied by the UNICEF. Please note that there was a program called as Applied Nutrition Program. There was a program called as Applied Nutrition Program. In Applied Nutrition Program, it was started in 1963, way back in 1963, where they wanted that the children who are there in the schools, they should be having good nutrition. So to improve the nutrition, there was a program where they will make kitchen gardens, and all the seeds and equipment supplies were done by UNICEF. So that was just a small program, not a very small program. It was a big national program, just a historical program, and it has been already asked about UNICEF Applied Nutrition Program. Let us move to the next MCQ. Identify the vitamin A deficiency as shown in the pic below. What do you think? Vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin B3, or vitamin D? What is the identify the question is wrong. Identify the vitamin deficiency. So this should not be there in the MCQ. Identify the vitamin deficiency as shown in the pic below. We are talking of Bitot spots. We are talking of Bitot spots. Bitot spots. What are Bitot spots? Bitot spots. So what are Bitot spots? Bitot spots are beta. These are small foamy white triangular spots. Foamy white triangular spots. These are on the limbal conjunctiva, and these are present when we have vitamin A deficiency. What is vitamin A deficiency called as? Vitamin A deficiency is called as Xerophthalmia. Vitamin A deficiency is called as xerophthalmia. Beta, please note. नौशीन कुलसुम, यस, ऐसा एक क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आना चाहिए. सो xerophthalmia, बट इवन इफ ऐसा क्वेश्चन, इजी क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में आ गया तो दीज वोंट बी रैंक डिसाइडिंग क्वेश्चंस, बट येस ऑफ कोर्स दीज आर लाइक पास फेल क्वेश्चंस. बेटा, व्हाट आर द फीचर्स ऑफ xerophthalmia? इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द फीचर्स ऑफ xerophthalmia, 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 it can be graded into stage 1. You can have, first is night blindness, night blindness. Then we have conjunctival xerosis. Then we have white dot spots, corneal xerosis, corneal ulcers, and last is keratomalacia. And last is keratomalacia. Last is keratomalacia. So what is the WHO staging? Beta, please note that night blindness is stages as XN. You have X1, you have X2A, X2B, X3 and X3. Right? So please note, yes, please note, yeah, I'm just correcting it. Please note X2A, 2B, X3. I think it just went haywire. So this is XN, X1, X2. No, it just went wrong. Just a moment. This is beta corneal ulcers. This is called as the X3. That is the third stage. Corneal ulcers is, no, corneal ulcer is not 2A. Conjunctival ulcers, conjunctival xerosis, you have X1, X2A, X2B, and then you have is the X third stage. Please note that, please note that night blindness, it is a non-specific feature. It is a non-specific feature. It is a non-specific feature. It is a non-specific feature, and then you have is what is the WHO staging criteria, and then you have is WHO staging criteria. I'll just let you know about the WHO staging criteria. So this is X1. Please see over here. This is X1, XN, X1A, X1B. It is not 2A, 2B beta. It is X1B. And then you have is corneal xerosis, that is X2, and corneal ulcers, that is X3A. And then you have is corneal keratomalacia, that is taken as like corneal scars, or X3B. X3B. So these are what are the WHO staging criteria, and if you can just see them properly, I think there was a connection lag. So beta, just sorry for the confusion. This is what is the WHO staging criteria. It just went off the grid, and a lot of things happening, and that is what maybe caused the confusion. So you have XN, very important to remember, XN, X1A. अब ठीक है ना, I think everybody agrees to this. This is not anything, no problem in that. This is what is the final answer, beta. XN is night blindness, X1A, 1B, 2, 3A and 3B. So MCQ over here is like, which is the non-specific feature? Non-specific feature is XN. Non-specific feature is XN, and then you have bite dot spots, that is X1B. That is what caused the whole confusion. That is X2B nahi hai, it is 1B. It is 1B. And then you have is corneal ulcers, corneal xerosis and keratomalacia. Another important point for you to note is that vitamin A deficiency, beta. Please note that vitamin A deficiency, it is also one of the most common vitamin deficiencies. It is also one of the most common vitamin deficiencies which can happen post disaster. Post disaster, one of the most common vitamin deficiencies is vitamin A deficiency. Next is vitamin A. I would also like to tell you that vitamin A is very commonly, most common associated with measles. सब साथ में कंफ्यूज हुए. Absolutely correct. I'm sorry for my confusion. Normally I don't get confused in such easy things, but पता क्या है? This I have shared many times in my classes also. Do you know, this is just a small thing. I don't know how it is, but do you know that surprisingly, what happens is that surprisingly, jo data, I told this many times in the class also, that sometimes the data which is very changing, I don't know, that's how I am built, data which keeps on changing all the time, I tend to remember that more nicely, but data which does not change, I get confused again and again and again. And PSM is also ever changing. So MMR changes, I remember every latest number. IMR changes, I remember those numbers. Everything which keeps on changing, I remember that. Anything which does not change, somehow I sometimes may get confused. So बिल्कुल ठीक बात है कि आम आदमी during exam from सब साथ में confused हुए, and I also got confused. And anyways, let's move on beta. Most common vitamin deficiency is vitamin A deficiency. Most common vitamin deficiency with measles, or which vitamin deficiency is with measles, or measles gets which vitamin deficiency? Answer is vitamin A. It is vitamin A. So most common associated with measles is vitamin A. Okay, so please remember, and in India we are giving vitamin A prophylaxis program. In India we are giving the vitamin A prophylaxis program. Vitamin A prophylaxis program mein beta, please remember that under the vitamin A prophylaxis program we are giving from 6 months of age of the child till 1 year. 6 months till 1 year. How much international unit? We are giving 1 lakh international units of vitamin A. That is the dose of vitamin A. After 1 year till 5 years of the age. So from 1 year to 5 years of the age, we are giving at the rate of 2 lakh international units every 6 monthly. So that is the dose of vitamin A which has to be given as prophylaxis. Please note, it is not a treatment program. It is not a vitamin A deficiency treatment program. It is a vitamin A deficiency prophylaxis program. So vitamin A deficiency prophylaxis program, 6 months to 1 year, it is 1 lakh international units. From 1 year to 5 year, it is 2 lakh international units given every 6 monthly. In case of treatment, it has to be taken judiciously. Usually we give on day 0, that is today. Whenever the child is diagnosed with vitamin A deficiency, then the next dose is given on the second day, that is next day. And then the third dose is usually given after 2 weeks, that is 14 days. So in case of treatment, we usually give 2 to 3 doses of vitamin A as per the dose given shown to you. In case the child is less than 6 months, yes, definitely correct. From less than 6 months, in case the child is less than 6 months, then the dose is 50,000 international units. So day 0, day 1 and day 14 is for treatment. Prophylaxis is separate, treatment is separate. Let us go to the next MCQ. More sodium content is found in. So this is also one of the previously asked MCQ. More sodium content is found in. What do you think? Which food product has the highest amount of sodium? If you talk about the highest amount of sodium, it is there in soup. Yes, because there is more salt. It is there in green vegetables, kind of plus or minus, but more is minus because sodium will not be there in green leafy vegetables. Bread, it might be there because it is fermented, and canned food can also have sodium, more amount of sodium. So sodium is there almost in everybody. So sodium is there almost in everything. सर टोटल डोज ऑफ विटामिन ए वो तो एज डिपेंडेंट डोज होगा ना. So in case of vitamin A deficiency, it will be age dependent doses and it will be double the dose. More sodium content is found in soup, green vegetables, bread or canned food. What do you think is the best answer? Answer is canned food. Yes, I agree to this, but the correct answer over here is bread. Why? Because just look at the screen over here. Look at the screen over here. In soup, there is 300 to 500 milligrams of sodium because of the salt content, cheese or other ingredients. Bread is fermented, beta. Bread, it is fermented food. How do you ferment food? You add sodium chloride. There is a very high level of sodium in bread. So bread is known to be a high sodium food. Spinach is less sodium. Canned food depends on the type. Usually in canned foods, if you talk about the canned foods, like beans, if you put nuts into them, salted nuts, of course they will be there. So canned foods, I'm not very much agreeing that canned foods is high sodium or low sodium. It will depend on the food which is there in the canned food. You can't just blankly say that every canned food is high sodium. There are low sodium canned foods also, right? So talking about the sodium content overall in the food products, highest sodium is there in canned meat, salted poultry, including bacon, cold cuts and ham. This is the highest. Highest sodium is found in these things. Then you have breaded meats, dinners, burritos, pizza, canned entries as ravioli, spam and chilies and salted nuts, and all these are high sodium foods. So please remember that sodium content is important. Why is sodium content important for us? I don't know if you recall. Do you remember? Many of you must have attended my previous session also. In the last week session where I talked about the non-communicable disease, do you remember that I told you that the most common cause of death in the country India was what? Do you remember? What was the most common cause of death in India? Any age group. Most common cause of death, if anybody has attended last week session, I told you it was coronary artery disease or the cardiovascular diseases. Cardiovascular disease is the most common cause of death for any age group. Any age group. And which is the major risk factor? Major risk factor for cardiovascular disease, beta, major risk factors is smoking and major risk factor is hypertension. In bracket I will write it as salt. So salt intake is one of the major risk factor. Next risk factors, do you remember I told about the global targets for non-communicable disease? You remember I told you that there should be 30% reduction in smoking, 30% reduction in salt intake, and the next risk factors which are important is alcohol, and then there is physical inactivity. You remember about this? I told you about the NCD, non-communicable disease global targets. We talked about this, na? Non-communicable disease global targets. I told you 30% reduction in smoking, 30% reduction in salt levels, alcohol, there should be more than 10% reduction, and physical activity, inactivity, there should be 10% reduction. You remember this? So in this, salt is one of the very important, and this can be asked in your exam. Make sure that you study hypertension, make sure that you study cardiovascular disease, make sure that you study salt, nutrition in hypertension, nutrition in diabetes, and all these things are important for your exam. So coming back to the story, question on salt can be asked directly, indirectly, I don't know how, but it can be asked about the sodium content, about DASH diets and all that. I hope everybody also knows what is DASH diet. DASH diet stands for Dietary Approach to Stop Hypertension. DASH stands for Dietary Approach to Stop Hypertension. It is to avoid or to treat hypertension cases. In this, the criteria is to have less than 10% saturated fat in your total diet. Less than 10% saturated fat should be there. The salt level should be less than, it should be less than how much? 5 grams per day. Salt level should be less than 5 grams per day. Very important for your exam. Coming to the next MCQ. A few persons out of 20 people had pastries after dinner last night. This was followed by bouts of vomiting in early morning, the most probable causes. This was followed by bouts of vomiting early morning. So what do you think is the most probable cause? Answer options are Bacillus cereus, Staph aureus, Clostridium botulinum, and Staph typhimurium. What do you think is the best answer over here? So there was vomiting. Beta, if in case it was botulism, देख लेंगे बेटा. In case you have a very cute name, देख लेंगे तेरे को. कहाँ देख लेगा भाई मेरे को. So anyways, botulism, अगर botulism होता इसका आंसर, then the question would have been talked about paralysis or diplopia and kind of preformed toxins, right? So botulism is not there. It is a pure amount of vomiting. Whenever you get vomiting in a very short span of time, always think of Staph aureus poisoning. So I am giving you a very important screenshot over here. So make sure that you study this screenshot. It is a 5-star table for you. So I made this 5-star table for you. In what situations you are going to mark your answer? Staph aureus, Salmonella, botulism, or Clostridia or Bacillus cereus. So एग्जाम में जो होगा देख लेंगे प्राची. सही है देख लेंगे. So Ratan Jaswal, okay. Let us salient points if I want to tell you that how will the MCQ be asked. Please note that if the question says that in very short time there was more diarrhea compared to vomiting. If the question says there was more diarrhea compared to vomiting, then usually the answer is acute gastroenteritis, or which is salmonella enteritis, where there is predominant diarrhea but there may be vomiting, yes or no. In case the question says there is more vomiting compared to diarrhea, all happening within 24 hours. If there is more vomiting compared to diarrhea, always think of staph poisoning. Staph poisoning also has the incubation period of very short of only 1 to 6 hours. Staph poisoning is very short incubation period where there is more amount of vomiting and cramping, which is the main feature. Profuse watery diarrhea is the feature in Salmonella. Cramping and vomiting is the feature in Staph aureus. Talking about botulism. In botulism, they will talk something about paralysis. They may talk about diplopias. They may talk about muscle weakness. They may talk about cramps as the predominant feature. In these cases, when they talk about dysphagia, diplopia, ptosis, dysarthria, blurring of vision, muscle weakness, all these preformed toxins, all these things which happen usually 1 to 2 days to 3 days, within 1 to 3 days, then you think of botulism. Toxin. Right? In case it is very nice, Sneha Chawda, बिल्कुल ठीक बोला आपने बेटा. In case they are saying about cooked rice, in case there was some Chinese food, there was rice, then the answer is Bacillus cereus. So just remember Chinese rice, or you can say fried rice, then the answer is Bacillus cereus. Usually Chinese food, they will be contaminated or intoxicated using Bacillus cereus. So botulism, descending paralysis, yes, that's what it is important for us to know. Okay, so please remember that Salmonella, Staph aureus, botulism, Clostridium and Bacillus cereus, these are important things that you need to remember. Bharti Shah, your smile is really sweet. Thank you so much. Let's go on. ऐसे distract करते हो तो फिर मेरा focus ही lose हो जाता है. Let's go on. What is the best answer over here? Few persons out of 20 people, group people had pastries after dinner last night. अच्छा एक और बात है. Whenever the question says something sweet खाया, कुछ sweet खाया, sweet as custard, as pastry, then your answer again has to be Staph aureus. This is again a hint. Yes sir, sweet smile, amazing tie today. Thank you so much. देख लेंगे. Thank you so much. देख फिर तुम पढ़ लो यार, मुझे भी पढ़ाने दो. ऐसे डिस्ट्रैक्ट करते रहोगे तो तुम पढ़ोगे या मैं पढ़ूंगा या हम पढ़ाएंगे, राइट? सो आज पढ़ने का मूड नहीं है. टॉपिक इज वेरी इजी, राइट? टॉपिक इज सो इजी. तो anyways, let's move on. A 45-year-old man presents with which of the following skin changes? What history will you take to diagnose this condition? This is one of the omnipresent MCQ. Every exam will get this MCQ. It is your favorite answer, pellegra. So क्या आंसर करोगे? It is your favorite answer, pellegra. 45-year-old man presents with following skin changes. What is the history you will take? Dementia, dietary history, dietary dementia, diarrhea, dementia and other neurological deficits. Answer is dietary history, dementia and diarrhea. It is from pellegra. Just one point about pellegra. I know that you all are super ghisa pita MCQ. I know this is a ghisa hua MCQ and it is super duper easy. But can you believe that last time, I think in last year 2022 के अंदर every exam had 1 to 2 questions on this question about pellegra. That is vitamin D. That is vitamin B3. Please note a few questions about pellegra. Very important. You should be knowing that pellegra is because of what? What do you think is because of pellegra? बोलो इसका आंसर बोलो chat box पे लिखो. Why do people get pellegra? Is it because of maize? Because it has low tryptophan? Or is it because of something else? Is there some other things also? So is it because of something else? Maize, please note, maize is a predominantly taken up diet in many parts of the country, but it is not the only food product. Maize is not the only food product which may cause pellegra. Please remember that maize is because of low tryptophan, pellegra is because of low tryptophan, but it is also because of more leucine. It is also because of more leucine. So any food which is less tryptophan and it has more leucine, it may cause pellegra. Maize is one of them. Another one food product that you should note is jowar. Jowar is another cereal which is low tryptophan and high leucine, and both may be pellagrogenic. Of course, maize has less tryptophan. Everybody knew it. But do you also know that maize has low tryptophan and high leucine? Similarly, jowar, do you know it has low tryptophan and high leucine? That is what you need to remember. So please note that leucinogenic foods and low tryptophan foods, these are the food products which may cause pellegra. So absolutely correct. Very nice beta. Enzyme deficiencies, jowar, leucine more, dermatitis, high leucine prevent conversion. Absolutely correct. So please note that dietary factors, predominantly maize, jowar diet, which is low in tryptophan and high in leucine, these all may be pellagrogenic. Let us move to the next MCQ. Anganwadi worker takes weight and height of a 4-year-old child and finds the height for age is -2 standard deviation. What do you think is the likely cause? Acute malnutrition, chronic malnutrition, recent malnutrition, no malnutrition. Thank you so much, Bharti ji. मान गए हम लोग. Let us study यार, है ना? खत्म करें, आधी तो रात हो गई है. Anganwadi worker takes weight and height of a 4-year-old child and finds the height for age is less than -2 standard deviation. What is the most likely cause? Height for age is -2 standard deviation. What is the most likely cause? Height for age. What do you think? Acute, chronic, recent or no malnutrition? Answer is absolutely correct. Very nice. You all have hit the bingo. Shriyam, dekh lenge, Lucky Singh, Ritvika, Prachi, everybody. I'm sorry, it'll take more time if I take everybody's name, but absolutely correct, beta. You all have hit the right spot. That height for age is chronic malnutrition. Just a very quick review for you that when do you say general malnutrition? General indicator is weight for age. Then when do you say acute malnutrition? It is weight for height. When do you say chronic malnutrition? Is height for age. What is the indicator for weight for age? We take into account is the Gomez classification. What is weight for height and height for age? We take into account is the which type of indicator? We take into account is that is Water Lowe's classification. When do you say Low on water lows, the cutoff criteria is -2 standard deviation. If anything is low, less than -2 standard deviation, the answer has to be low on water lows. If it is low, wait for height -2 se niche, it is acute. If it is low, less than -2 standard deviation height for age, it is called as chronic. Height for age low, it is called as stunting, and weight for height, if it is low, it is called as wasting. Low weight for height, that is wasting. Low height for age, that is stunting. If in case you want to know about the growth charts, you can see that there are 3 zones in the growth charts and there are 3 curves. Which is the first curve? The first curve is where the top of the green side, that is what corresponds to +2 standard deviation. It corresponds to the +2 standard deviation. It is also corresponding to the 95th percentile, and it also corresponds to the median. Then at this junction, at the lower part of the green zone, that is -2, and then at the lower part of the yellow zone, it is -3. So if a child is between -2 and -3, this is called as mild to moderate malnutrition. If it is below -3, this is called as severe malnutrition. This is called as severe malnutrition. I hope you understand this, and I hope you will remember this. Beta Sarah has Bacha has asked that which of the following is the best indicator for general undernutrition. Beta, for general undernutrition, if Beta Sarah, this is for you. If they ask you which of the following is the best indicator for general undernutrition, it is weight for age. If in case they ask you which is the age independent marker for undernutrition, which is the age independent. Now the concept of the question has changed. It is now age independent marker of undernutrition. The age independent marker of undernutrition is what is Shakir's tape, that is mid upper arm circumference. If the question talks about age independent marker, it is mid upper arm circumference. Otherwise, general answer should be Gomez classification. Absolutely correct, beta. It is age independent is mid upper arm circumference. Coming back to the story, Anganwadi worker takes weight and height of a 4-year-old child and finds the height for age as -2 standard deviation. Answer is chronic malnutrition. Absolutely correct. Everybody answers correctly. Let us move to the next MCQ under ICDS program. Calorie supplement for pregnant females. Calorie supplement for pregnant females. 300 calorie, 200 calories, 600, 500. What do you think you would like to answer over here? So this question is from ICDS program. ICDS stands for Integrated Child Development Scheme Services. S is services. S is services. It is not a scheme. Integrated Child Development Services. So under the Integrated Child Development Services, we are giving supplementary nutrition. Supplementary nutrition can be given to all children. It can also be given to severely malnourished. It can also be given to the pregnant female. This is a screenshot I have taken from my book, that is Conceptual Review of Community Medicine. Conceptual Review of PSM by CBS Publishers. So this is ICDS program, Integrated Child Development Services. Child, please remember that the calorie we give is 500, 12 to 15 grams of protein. In case of pregnant female, it is 600 calories, 18 to 20 grams of protein. And in case of malnourished child, this can be asked in your exam. Total, we are giving 800 calories, 20 to 25 grams of protein in one single diet. That is what is Integrated Child Development Services. So ICDS and RDA is different. RDA is recommended dietary allowance, beta. RDA, don't get confused. What do you mean by RDA? RDA stands for the recommended dietary allowance. RDA stands for the recommended dietary allowance. It is that if I say that 2 roti or 2 chapati is enough for everyone who is attending this class, if I say that 2 roti is enough for everybody who's right now listening to my class. But there might be some students who did gym in the evening, or there might be some students who are athletes and who are sports person. They might need more diet. But there might be girls in the class, there might be students who don't do gym and who are studying the whole day. For them, 1 roti or 2 roti is more than enough. So what do you mean by recommended dietary allowance? Any number that I say, Listen very carefully now. Any number that I say, any number of the diet that you should be taking, which is enough, or in technical terms, which is adequate to give the appropriate nutrition, right? Which is enough for people 97 to 98% of the population. If they are happy with that diet, that number is called as the recommended dietary allowance. Are you understanding? Diet is it's a very fragile, it's a very dynamic thing. Diet is not, you can't say that you eat one mobile phone. You can be hungry, you can eat 5 rotis, you are less hungry, you will eat one roti. You are mentally disturbed, you will eat half roti. Or you are under stress, you will not eat roti at all, you will eat dosa. Or if in case you are very happy, you eat pasta or noodles or Maggi, whatever, right? So diet is a very fluidy kind of thing. Whenever I want to give you any number, any diet which is equal, which is enough for 97 to 98% of the people, that is recommended dietary allowance. That is what is RDA. ICDS तो बेटा एक scheme है ना, it's a program. ICDS is a services program. It is under ministry. Which ministry? It is under Ministry of Women and Child Development. It is ICDS program is run by which ministry? Ministry of MOWCD, Ministry of Women and Child Development. Now let us move to the next MCQ. Linoleic acid is maximum in which? Groundnut, safflower, mustard, coconut. What do you think you want to answer? Linoleic acid is maximum in which food product? Linoleic. What do you mean by linoleic? So please note that there are some fatty acids. You already know that there is saturated fatty acids. You already know there is MUFA. You already know there is omega-3, and you already know there is omega-6 fatty acids. So what is saturated fatty acids? Saturated fatty acids, what is the richest source? It is animal fats. MUFA, please remember MUFA, mono unsaturated fatty acids. MUFA is predominant, mono. It is what is oleic acid, hai na? Oleic acid is MUFA. Please remember oleic acid, MUFA. It is predominant in oleic olive oil. Oleic olive oil. MUFA is oleic acid. It is predominant in olive oil. It is also high in groundnuts. It is also high in mustards. All those who are Hindi speaking, it is very easy to remember. MUFA, moongfali, groundnuts. MUFA, mustard, mustard. MUFA is oleic, oleic is olive. You can remember oh my god, OMG, oh my god, OMG. O is oleic acid, M is MUFA, MUFA is mustard, G is groundnut. Okay, so remember OMG, oh my god, that is MUFA. MUFA is the richest. If you get the single one, best answer, please mark olive oil. Olive oil has highest amount of MUFAs, or MUFA is highest in olives. Omega-3, what is omega-3? It is linoleic acid. It is alpha linoleic acid. It is rich in flaxseed. Remember flaxseed. It is rich in flax seeds. Omega-6, these are linoleic acids. Linoleic acids. Linoleic acid is richest source is safflower. Richest source is safflower. Remember, omega-3, say with me, omega-3 is flaxseed, omega-6 is safflower, MUFA is olive. Remember, MUFA, olive, omega-3 is flaxseed, omega-6 is safflower. Next is, you would also like to remember there's something called as the food pyramid. Which food products are at the bottom? At the bottom, we have always the whole grains. We have is the pulses, dal, soya, legumes. All these are in the lowest level. We usually should be taking 5 to 12 servings of these food products. In the next level, we have roughly around 3 to 4 servings. 3 to 5 servings, you can remember, of fruits and vegetables. Then we have as lowest number should be there for nuts, vegetables, oil, and at the top you have sweets, dairy, and eggs. So remember, this number of servings can be asked into your exam. So 3 to 5 servings in the category 2. Then you have as the category 1, that is roughly around 5 to 10 servings. Depending on your dietary pattern, 5 to 10 servings of whole grains, 5 to 10 servings of dals and soya. And then lowest number like 0 to 3 servings should be there for nuts and seeds, vegetable oils, dairy, eggs, and sweets, depending on your dietary pattern. So this can be asked in your food pyramid also. This can be one of the MCQ. So linoleic acid is maximum in, what do you think is the best answer? Linoleic is maximum in linoleic. What is this? Omega 3, omega 6 or omega 9? That is mufas. Linoleic is omega 6. Answer is safflower oil. Everybody answered correctly. It is safflower oil. Coming to the next MCQ. False about ESI. That was the MCQs about nutrition. Let us move to the other topic. ESI. So false about ESI. Center contributes 7 by 8 and state contributes 1 by 8 part of the expenditure. A worker with income less than 176 per day is exempt from contribution. Funeral expenses 25,000 and medical care is also provided to retired and permanently disabled insured persons and their spouses on the payment of token annual premium of 120 rupees. What do you think is the best answer? So you need to find the false one. You need to find the wrong answer over here. What do you think is the most wrong answer? So many are answering C. Some are answering D. Medical care is provided also to the retired and permanently disabled persons. What do you think is the wrong answers? Absolutely correct. This was a very easy MCQ. Even if you don't know the options, at least you know that the funeral expense is not 25,000. It is 15,000 only. Funeral expense is not 25,000. Funeral expense is 15,000. Absolutely correctly answered by many of the students. It is not 10,000 for medico. It was long time back. It was 10,000. Now it is 15,000. So INICET, they ask a lot of questions from occupational health. They can ask sometimes. So make sure that ESI, remember ESI at least. Factories Act you can leave, but ESI padh ke jana beta. ESI is important for your exam. So please note that option number A, center contributes 7/8 and state is 1/8. Federal government or the center government is 7/8 and every state, Rajya Sarkar, will contribute 1/8. Income of less than 176 is exempted. That is also correct. This is also true. Funeral expense is 15,000. Please note that option C is the wrong one. Medical care can also be, this is something news for you. It is new for you. You also should be knowing that people who are retired, they can also obtain the ESI benefits by giving an annual premium of 120 rupees. Another MCQ from Factories Act. Every worker, which of the following is not correct? Every worker to have space more than 100 cubic feet, minus bench for kids at school, canteen for factory size of 250, crèche facility for factory of more than 50 employee. Which one do you think is the incorrect option? Option A, option B, option C, option D. Which one do you think is the incorrect answer? What do you think is the wrong answer? What do you think is the wrong answer? So please note that which of the following is not correct? Crèche facility for more than 50 employees. That was a tricky MCQ and many of you have thought that this is the wrong answer. In fact, this is the most correct answer. This is a news update for you. This is a news update. Earlier it was taken as 30 employees, but now this 30 employees or 30 females is wrong answer. It has been changed over to 50 employees. That is the correct answer. So news update is crèche facility for factory. That is 50 employees. This is correct. This is true. Canteen facility for 250 employees. This is also true. Please hear me. I'm not going to write it. I'm not spending time on writing it. If it is more than 50 employees, we need crèche facility. If it is 250 employees, we need canteen facility. If it is 500 employees, we need a welfare officer. And if it is 1000 employees, we need a safety officer. Next is minus bench for kids at school, for children at school, school-going children. This is also true. C is also true. Which is the wrong one? It is not 100. It is 500 square feet. It is not 100. It is 500 square feet, cubic feet of space which is given to every worker. Option A is the best wrong answer that you would like to mark for this question. Next MCQ, ergonomics. What do you mean by ergonomics? Ergonomics means fitting the job to the worker, fitting the worker to the job, industrial hygiene or industrial health. Ergonomics is basically about industrial health. It is not fitting the worker to the job. It is fitting the job to the worker. You make the environment so conducive so that people can give their optimum benefit, so that people can give their optimum output. You are studying for your entrance exam by your parents. They have given you good mobiles so that you can watch this lecture online. They have given you good internet. Your parents, your family members, they must have worked hard to help you enter into MBBS by giving you more books, by giving you a study table so that you are able to sit and study and study for more hours. So giving you a proper environment, giving a proper environment for people to work, this science is called as ergonomics. So wherever I am right now, I am in my home studio. So from the home studio, I have made my environment so conducive so that I am able to deliver the lecture to you undistractedly. This whole thing is ergonomics. It is fitting the job to the worker. It is about industrial health also. So the best answer over here you would like to mark is option number A. Another question on ESI. This ESI has been lately very much talk of the town. So what do you think regarding ESI? All are correct except. So you don't need to revise ESI again. Whatever is the salient points, I think I have discussed over here. So for ESI benefits, all are correct except for physically handicapped persons hiring, the employer contribution is paid by government for 3 years. What do you think? This is true or false? For physically handicapped persons hiring, the employer contribution is paid for 3 years. Minimum wage limit for physically disabled is ESI is 25. Center contributes 1/8. Shramnik Kalyan Yojana can be availed for more than 2 years. So please note that option number 1, that is physically handicapped persons, the government of India, the ESI, it gives a kind of a promotion scheme that in case you are the employer and you employ any physically handicapped or physically challenged persons on the job because you're promoting their employment, the government gives a promotion that they will contribute your contribution for next 3 years. So this is true. Next is minimum wage limit for physically disabled person, because the ESI wants to promote physical disabled also getting into occupation. It is 25,000. This is also true. The center government's not gives 1/8. They give 7. The center government gives 7/8 of the medical benefits. Just now we did in the previous question. Shramnik Kalyan Yojana. It is a new Yojana. It is for all people who are who are disqualified from the job, or they have to leave the job, or their job is gone because of not their problem but because of the government problem. So in case of retrenchment, retrenchment means in English we say layoff, just we say thank you. Or in case of forceful closure of the company, which happened in COVID-19. Shramnik Kalyan Yojana is for people who have been insured for 2 years and who have been contributing for more than 2 years. In case there is forceful closure of their occupation or their company, or in case of non-occupational related disabilities, they can avail this Shramnik Kalyan Yojana for 2 years. So people who are employed for more than 2 years. So absolutely correct. The best wrong answer you would mark is option number 3. Moving to the next MCQ. Plumbism, which of the following is Shramnik Kalyan Yojana? It is you need more than 75. See, some students are asking about Shramnik Kalyan Yojana. It is for 2 years if they have given full payment. In case they have given partially payment, then this can be relaxed up till 2 years. Up till 3 years. The relaxation is up till 3 years, but ideally if the person have been insured in the last 2 years, then they can avail the Shramnik Kalyan Yojana. If you get both the answers, please mark 2 years as a better answer. Coming to the next MCQ, which of the following is correct? Please mark the correct option. Plumbism, most common route is ingestion. Silicosis mostly affects lower 2/3 of the lungs. Asbestosis is associated with bronchial cancers. Farmer's lung is associated with inorganic chemical exposure. What do you think is the best right answer? So what do you think is the best right answer? Which is the correct one? What do you think is the correct answer? Noshin says B, Dekhlenge says D, FOMO is B. So we have B, D, Sai says C. What do you think is the best correct answer? What do you think is the best correct answer? Option C, plumbism, inhalation, upper zone, asbestosis, mesothelioma. Absolutely correct. B or D. Okay, beta, please note that plumbism most common route is ingestion. That is wrong answer. It is inhalation. Ingestion is the most common route only in case of children. In case of children, if they get plumbism, then ingestion is the answer. But if nothing is mentioned, plumbism is generally not in children, it is in adults. So plumbism problem is through inhalation. This answer is false. Silicosis affect 2/3 of the lung. Silicosis is because of the dust, silica dust. It is because of the silica dust. And because silica dust is there, it will fly off in the air wherever there is more ventilation. Where there is more ventilation, in the upper zones of the lung. So it is not in the lower 2/3. That is wrong answer. It is in the upper zones of the lung. Asbestosis may be associated with bronchial cancer. This is one of the most true answer. Why? Because this is bronchial cancer, please note, is the most common cancer. Mesotheliomas are very strongly associated with the asbestosis, but the most common cancer you have to mark is bronchial cancer. It is not asbestosis, as maybe you were thinking that mesothelioma is most common cancer in asbestosis. This is wrong. Mesotheliomas, please note, mesotheliomas, these are very rare cancer. These are very rare cancer, but they have the strongest association with asbestosis. Farmer's lung is associated with inorganic chemical exposure. Nahi hai, it is by moldy hay. Organic exposure, moldy. Moldy means fungal, moldy hay. Hay is the dried husk or the grass, right? Asbestosis is strongly associated with bronchial cancer, and mesotheliomas most common is bronchial cancer. Okay, so which is the best right answer? You are going to mark as option C. Next, which of the following is not correct? What do you think? Which of the following is not correct? What do you think is not correct? Vinyl chloride exposure may cause hepatic cancer. Most common occupational cancer is skin cancer. Benzene exposure leads to lung cancer. Radon exposure may cause sterility in females. What do you think? Vinyl chloride is hepatic. Most common occupational is skin cancer. Benzene exposure leads to lung cancer. Radon exposure may cause sterility in females. What do you think is the not correct or the wrong answer? Which is the not correct or the wrong answer? Absolutely correct. Benzene exposures lead to lung cancer. That is wrong answer. Benzene is associated with leukemias. Benzene is associated with leukemias rather than lung cancers. Vinyl is with hepatic. This is true. Most common occupational cancer is skin cancer. This is also true. Radon exposure may cause sterility in females. This is also true. So what do you think is the best not correct or the wrong answer? The best wrong answer is benzene exposure and leads to lung cancer. This is the most wrong answer. Benzene exposure is associated more commonly with the leukemias. Benzene exposure is associated with leukemias. Okay, so you can remember this table over here. What are the predisposing agents and the cancer? Let us move to the next MCQ. Which of the following is not correct? Some questions from biomedical waste management. Which of the following is not correct? What do you think is not correct option? Plastic vacutainers with blood are disposed of in yellow category. Gloves after dressing of HIV patient is disposed of in the red category. Unopened vials with the live vaccine are disposed of in the blue category, or syringe with fixed needle goes to the white category. What do you think is not correct? I have told this so many times in your classes. It has been discussed in Telegram group. It has been discussed in Marrow. Every edition I am discussing about biomedical waste management. Biomedical waste management. Which do you think is not correct? So everybody says C. Unopened vaccine vials are disposed of in blue category. That is the not correct answer. So just a very quick review about the biomedical waste management. I know that you already must be knowing about this biomedical waste management guidelines. All the waste which is human anatomical waste, we have already discussed. In yellow category, you dispose of the placenta, fetus. Soiled waste, which is all the dressing material, anything cotton which is with blood, without blood, HIV blood, pneumonia blood, syphilis blood, malaria blood, any blood. Soiled waste, that is dressing waste, goes in the yellow C category. And this soiled waste, it is also including the plaster and the cast, expired medicines and discarded medicines, cytotoxic drugs, and all the tubes which are used with the cytotoxic drugs. It also includes the IV tubes, IV set. It also includes the IV set which use the cytotoxic drugs. Everything goes to the yellow category. Microbiological waste, which includes blood bags, vacutainers with blood, everything is yellow category. X-ray film, the not the film, the liquid that is for developing the X-ray fluid, X-ray films, liquid chemical waste, and liquid disinfectants, everything goes into the yellow category. I hope you already remember these timeline of the yellow category, not the timeline, the list of the yellow category. You have yellow A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. H is for the microbiological laboratory waste, which includes the blood bags, which also includes the blood bags. All the gowns, linen, beddings, they all go into the yellow G. G stands for gown, G stands for gadda. The bedding, the mattress, everything goes into the yellow G. Fluid waste is the yellow F, and all these three waste, they have to be pre-treated. The pre-treatment has to be done for yellow F, for yellow G, and for yellow H. Liquid, the chemical waste is yellow E. Then you have as the yellow D, discarded medicine, C, soiled waste, animal waste, and human waste. Talking about the red category, blue category, and the white category, red category will take into account anything which is plastic. Anything which is plastic, anything which is tube, anything which is rubber. You can remember rubber, tube, plastic, they go into the red category. Rubber, plastic, tube, they go into the red category. Beta X-ray plates, even if they are discarded, they are under the radiation waste. They go into the radiation waste, not in the red waste. So X-ray films, everything is radiation waste, not in the red category. Only the X-ray fluid is yellow category. Okay, coming over to the blue category. Blue category, anything which is broken wires, broken ampules, broken glass, slides, blood slides, everything is yellow. This thing, blue category, not the yellow. And anything which is sharp is what is white category. Hello. Hello. Yeah, now audible. Okay. So coming back to this MCQ, a lot of disruptions. Now I hope I am visible, I am audible. Now I hope I am visible, I am audible. And there was this mic was not on. Anyways, coming back to the story. Am I visible? Am I audible? Which of the following is not correct? So coming back to this MCQ, which of the following is not correct, beta? Plastic vacuolators with blood are disposed of in the yellow category. This MCQ says it's a plastic category. It's a plastic vacuolator which is disposed of in yellow category. Do you think it is correct? Yes or no? Plastic vacuolators may be disposed of. Plastic vacuolator, this is the only exception, beta. Anything which is plastic has to go into the red category except the plastic vacuolator which are filled with blood. If the vacuolator is a vacuum packed thing. So if the vacuolator is filled with blood, it is disposed of in the yellow category. Okay. Gloves after dressing in the HIV patient, they are disposed of in what category? Gloves, any answer, it is in the red category. Anything, maybe with blood, feces, urine, whatever it is, gloves have to be disposed of in the red category. Unopened vaccine vials with live vaccines are disposed of in the blue category. That is the wrong answer. It is disposed of in the yellow category. Please note yellow H, that is the hazardous waste, that is for unopened vials. Syringes with fixed needle, they go to the white category. This is also true. So which is the only one, which is the best answer you're going to mark? The best answer you're going to mark is option number C. That is wrong answer. It is the not correct option over here. Coming to the next MCQ, in a remote tribal area with no access to biomedical waste, A&M after conducting delivery. So A&M after conducting the delivery will discard the broken glass from ampules and syringes in what category, in what system? So in a remote tribal area, the point is that there is no access to the biomedical waste facility. So now this female has to, this A&M has to conduct the delivery, and where will she discard the glass from ampules and syringes? Ampules and syringes, what do you think? What is the best answer? It is to be disinfected and put in a sharp pit with deep burial. Absolutely correct. It is going into the sharp pit. So sharp pit is a pit which is there inside and it goes into the sharp pit. It is put in cardboard box and dispose of in general waste. That is wrong answer. General waste you are not going to dispose of. Secure dumping after disinfection. That is also not correct. What is the best answer? It is option number D. Coming to the next questions from environment, chlorine disinfection of water is due to which ions? What do you think is the most predominant system for chlorine disinfection of water? Chlorine disinfection, chlorination. What is the principle of chlorination? Principle of chlorination is formation of oxidative radicals, free radicals. So free radicals, these are predominantly by the hypochlorous ions. Please remember, hypochlorous is the main mechanism. It is the main mechanism for disinfection with chlorination. What is chlorine demand? Chlorine demand, it is given by which apparatus? It is given by Horrocks apparatus. Chlorine demand is given by Horrocks apparatus. How much should be the level of chlorine? The chlorine level in water, it should be more than 0.5 parts per million. The chlorine level in water should be more than 0.5 parts per million. So absolutely correct. What is the main mechanism? That is hypochlorous ions. Sneha Chawda and more than 90% hypochlorous ions. Absolutely correct. Next is, in a remote area of a country with gastroenteritis, epidemic broke out. So what do you think about this? This is a acute gastroenteritis epidemic was there. A community shallow well was suspected to be the cause. The doctor in charge of the PHC had no facility to check the quality of water except the physical examination of water. Which of the following is a physical parameter that would indicate the water pollution? So what do you think? Which of the following is a physical parameter that would indicate water pollution? Beta, chemical oxygen demand, it is not at all a parameter for water quality. It is used for It is used to find strength of sewage. It is not about the water quality. It is used to find the strength of the sewage. Nitrogen oxide, dioxide, it is also not a parameter for water quality. It is for air quality. Biological oxygen demand, that is also to find the strength of the sewage. The best answer over here that you can see is turbidity. Beta, how do you measure turbidity? Turbidity is measured in nephalometric units. It is measured in nephalometric units. Turbidity is measured in nephalometric units. Turbidity, it should be less than 5 NTU. NTU is nephalometric units. It should be always less than 5. Permissible is up till 5. It should be ideally 1 NTU. Ideal water should be 1 NTU, but permissible not more than 5 NTU. This is the upper limit of turbidity. Upper limit of turbidity should be 5 NTU. Next is, which of the following is false regarding the orthotolidine test? Which of the following is false regarding the orthotolidine test? Orthotolidine test is another test which is used for chlorine estimation. So what do you think is the false regarding orthotolidine test? Yellow color in few seconds, red color in few seconds. 0.1 ml of the reagent is used for 1 ml of water, or free chlorine is estimated. This we have already done, that free chlorine is estimated. This is a correct answer. It should be more than 0.5 parts per million of the free chlorine should be there. That is what is the standards of water quality. So this is correct. This is true option. 0.1 ml of the reagent is used. 0.1 ml of the reagent is used for 1 ml of water. This is also true option, I'm telling you. Is it yellow color or red color? Answer is yellow color is correct. Answer is red color is wrong answer, because red color is not the correct one. Whenever you put orthotolidine, there is color change. This color change happens within few seconds. It becomes a yellow color. So answer is absolutely correct. Everybody is wrote it correctly. It is yellow. It is red color, which is the wrong answer. Next is, what do you mean by Sullivan index? Just a few MCQs remaining now about the miscellaneous chapters here and there. So this is all the MCQs from now on, from this point onwards. Whatever MCQs you're going to do in next 20-30 minutes, these are the most important MCQs, because they are like about the health indicators and miscellaneous topics and for your INICET exams. Talking about what is Sullivan index, what do you think is the best answer? Sullivan index measures life expectancy adjusted without disability or free of disability. It measures disability. It measures life expectancy. It measures life years adjusted with disability. So what do you think? Life years adjusted with disability, A or D? So mostly people are saying A. Beta, actually this MCQ, A and D both are correct. But if you get a single best answer, A is a better answer. A is a better answer to mark than D. A is a best answer. This is the definition. I can't do anything about it. This is the definition of what is Sullivan index. Sullivan index is nothing but the life expectancy minus the Daly years. Minus the Daly years. Years lived with disability and years of premature deaths, minus that, minus the life expectancy. That is what is Sullivan index. It is a positive indicator. Related to this is what is HALE, beta. What is HALE? HALE stands for Health Adjusted Life Expectancy. It is number of years which are freely lived from disability due to any disease, due to any problem. So that is what is HALE. It is a good measure of the health status. It is a good measure of the health status of population. See, Sullivan you calculate for every disease. Every disease will have its Sullivan. So this not Daly actually. It is about Daly for a single disease. But if you talk about the total population, then we talk about the HALE. HALE is health status of the population, health adjusted life expectancy. Okay, that is what is Sullivan. Next MCQ, which of the following is not correct for Human Development Index? So what do you think? I'm waiting for your answers. It has 3 dimensions and 4 indicators. It represents the standards of living. It is a geometric mean of the dimension index. It accounts for GDP per capita. What do you think is the best wrong answer? You have to mark the not correct one. So which of the following is not correct for Human Development Index? What do you think is the best wrong answer? Absolutely correct, Ritvika Jha. Hail is for the population. So, which of the following is not correct for Human Development Index? What do you think is the best answer? Option number D, C, B, or A? Absolutely correct. Very nice, Ritvika. This is not GDP per capita. It is not GDP per capita. It is GNI per capita. What is GNI? It is gross national income. इसको भूलना नहीं है बेटा. HDI takes into account 3 dimensions and 4 indicators. HDI takes into account isko. I want that nobody should forget about HDI. HDI is important for your exam. HDI, it is Human Development Index and takes into account 3 dimensions, that is life or health. Second, it takes about education or knowledge, and third is standard of living. Third is standard of living. In terms of life, it will talk about life expectancy at birth or 1 year. It talks about life expectancy at birth. Education, it will talk about expected school years and mean school years. And standard of living is not GDP, it is GNI per capita. It is GNI per capita, gross national income per capita. So HDI, there is a recent update in HDI. HDI is Human Development Index. It talks about the HDI value is 0.633. This 0.633, India ranks at 132 rank out of 191 countries, and the life expectancy for India, it has decreased. Mark these words. This is a news update for you. It is also updated in your Marrow edition 6.5 video module, that there is a life expectancy decline from 69.7 years to 67.2 years for India as per the latest 2022 Human Development Index. As per the latest 2022 Human Development Index, the life expectancy for India has declined from 69.7 years to 67.2 years. Common sense, because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But the HDI has decreased for India 0.633, and India lies in the medium HDI. India lies in medium HDI. So which of the following is not correct? Absolutely correct answer. Most of you had given that it accounts for GDP per capita. That's the wrong answer. It is accounting for GNI per capita. Next is, which of the following is not correct level of prevention? A very frequently asked, this is a 7-star MCQ topic for you. Which of the following is not correct regarding the levels of prevention? What do you think? Fetal cardiac monitoring, hand washing, special shoes for leprosy patients, or isolation of the measles patient? What do you think is the best answer? Which of the following is not correct? What do you think? Which of the following is not correct? Wrong answer बताना है आपको. Fetal cardiac monitoring, is it a secondary prevention? Hand washing, is it a primary prevention? Special shoes for leprosy patients, that is the MCR footwear. Is it a secondary prevention? Isolation of measles patient, is it a secondary level of prevention? Which of the following is not correct? Almost everybody is saying option number C. Special shoes for leprosy patient is secondary prevention. Isolation of measles is secondary prevention. Primary prevention, hand washing. Secondary prevention is fetal cardiac. Fetal cardiac monitoring you do in case there is some problem. In case there is some problem, you want to find the disease early. That is why we do fetal cardiac monitoring. It is not going to prevent the disease, but it is only going to find the disease early. That is what is fetal cardiac monitoring. That is what is fetal cardiac monitoring. Okay, so this is true. No doubt in this. Hand washing, beta, hand washing. If you generally have a habit, let me just duplicate this slide. If you generally have a habit of hand washing, if I say that I have a habit of hand washing, every now and then I'm hand washing. What do you think this is? This is a primordial level of prevention because you are doing hand washing as a habit. But in case you are touching the patient, hand washing after touching patients or before food or after going to washroom or toilet, this type of prevention, it is a primary level of prevention. So hand washing could be anything. Coming to special shoes for leprosy patient, in case you are giving soft sole shoes either to prevent a complication, listen very carefully. I am not giving special shoes to leprosy patient to treat a complication, that would have been rehabilitation. But I am giving special shoes to leprosy patient. Listen very carefully. I get a patient with leprosy. Leprosy case is there. I start this, listen very carefully. I start this case on the multi-drug therapy for leprosy. I give this patient paucibacillary or multibacillary leprosy treatment. And along with the leprosy treatment, I also give special shoes that, bhaiya, these are the special shoes you should wear because this will prevent any ulcer in your feet, because it will prevent any ulcer in your feet. So what level of prevention are you doing? Don't you think you are doing a secondary level prevention? Why do you think every time MCQ wala will ask you that shoes मतलब tertiary? गलत आंसर हो गया ना यार आपका. Yeah, tertiary it would have been because if the person was already disabled. तो मैंने कहाँ बोला यहाँ पे disability है? Special shoes for leprosy case. Special shoes for patients with leprosy with complication with nerve injury, उसमें बोलो ना tertiary prevention. Why do you say tertiary prevention all the time? This is correct answer. This is wrong attitude. आपका गलत बात है ये, that you take things lightly and बस वो word याद किया and you answer it. नहीं, there are sometimes concepts also. Coming to isolation of measles patient, how on earth could you miss this question यार? Beta, these are the questions which are going to make you go into department, with all due respect, department of PSM उठाना पड़ जाएगा या बायोकेमिस्ट्री उठाना पड़ जाएगा एम्स के अंदर. कहाँ सोच रहे थे कि ऑर्थो और गायनी और रेडियो और डर्मा करेंगे, PSM पकड़ में आ जाएगी. सो बच जाओ इन चीज़ों से, ये गलतियाँ मत करो. These questions will land you into problem. These questions are the questions which the topper will get them correct and the student will leave these questions. Normal student से गलती हो जाती है. How can you forget about this? Isolation of measles patient secondary होगा क्या? इससे treat होता है measles patient. Are you going to treat the measles patient by isolating the patient? Isolation is a pure type of beta isolation. Class attend, if you have attended my class and अगर class में आप गलत बोलते हैं ना, बहुत मैं डांटता आपको. आइसोलेशन ऑफ मीजल्स पेशेंट इज नॉट अ सेकेंडरी लेवल बेटा. आइसोलेशन इज अ प्राइमरी लेवल ऑफ प्रिवेंशन बिकॉज इट प्रिवेंट्स इन्फेक्शन टू अदर्स. उससे पेशेंट को आइसोलेट करने से पेशेंट ठीक थोड़ी ना हो जाता है. क्या बच्चों वाली बात है? इफ यू आइसोलेट अ पेशेंट दैट इज गोइंग टू प्रिवेंट इन्फेक्शन इन अदर पीपल. राइट. सो प्लीज नोट, पूरा क्वेश्चन पढ़ना है. ये जोर धीरे का झटका जोर से लगता है, ये वो वाले क्वेश्चंस है. सो ये वो धीरे का झटका जोर से लग गया, गूगली क्वेश्चन हो गया. आई डेंट वांट टू मेक अ गूगली क्वेश्चन बिकॉज आई थॉट दिस वाज सुपर डुपर इजी क्वेश्चन. आई डोंट वांट यू टू डू दीज क्वेश्चंस रॉन्ग बेटा. पूरा पढ़ तो लो. So what is the best answer you're going to mark? Isolation of the measles patient, it is a pure type of primary prevention and not a secondary prevention. This is false answer. Let's go to the next MCQ. Bed turnover ratio is a type of dash indicator. Bed turnover ratio is a type of dash indicator. Health service indicator, healthcare utilization, disability, socioeconomic indicator. So what do you think? Bed turnover ratio is a type of dash indicator. Yes, Neha, this happens that no one read the option number D because C में ही पकड़े गए ना. C option में लिखा आ गया that there was shoe देना. Shoe is tertiary. बचपन से ही पढ़ाया गया है. Shoe is tertiary. So bed turnover ratio is a type of dash indicator. What do you think? It is a utilization indicator. It is not a service indicator. Of course, it can be used as a service and utilization both, but more importantly, it is a utilization indicator compared to the service indicator. So what are the bed turnover rates, beta? Please note that bed turnover rate, BTR, it is a very important indicator when we talk about the utilization indicators. It is a very important indicator when we talk about the utilization indicators. So I have given you this over here. I would like you to focus your mind over here in these three indicators. These all are clubbed under the utilization indicator. This is a 7-star slide for you. This is a flashcard you should keep before your INICET exams. I think you might get a question from this. Healthcare delivery indicators, there are some types of indicators which are called as the delivery indicators, like the planning indicators. How much should be the doctor population ratio, doctor nurse ratio, population bed ratio, population per health center, and so on. Then you have is the socio-economic indicators, like how much money people have, amount of per capita GNP, population increase, dependency ratios, and demographic indicators. Then you have is the utilization rates. Utilization rate means how many people are actually utilizing your services, like number of people who are fully immunized, number of pregnant females who are receiving the ANC care, percentage of population using family planning, and very important, you have the BOR, that is the bed occupancy rates. You have the BTR, that is the bed turnover ratios. So what is the difference? Very carefully. So bed occupancy rate. What is bed occupancy rate? Beta occupancy rate, bed occupancy rate is the total number of inpatient days of care divided by the beds available into 100. So if you are working, let us say it is the number of bed occupancy rate is average daily inpatient number of cases divided by the average number of beds that you have multiplied by 100. Okay, so number of IPD patients that you had, number of IPD patients that you had who were admitted onto the bed divided by the total beds into 100. But what is the bed turnover ratio? Bed turnover ratio is slightly different from the bed occupancy rate. Bed turnover ratio, it takes into account both the things. It takes into account the discharges. That is, it takes into account discharge. So when will you discharge a person? Either when you discharge a person when he's good, he's healthy, back to recovery, or when he's dead. So it is number of deaths plus number of discharges, that is IPD discharge, or you can say IPD admissions. So admissions and their discharges plus the number of deaths divided by the total number of beds, average beds into 100, average beds into 100. It is not average beds, it is bed days available. It's not actually beds, it is bed days available. If you are working for 100 days and if you have 10 beds on each day, so total denominator will be 1000 because it is bed days, it is not the number of beds. So it is number of deaths plus the number of discharges, IPD discharge divided by the bed days into 100. Similarly for IPDs, for bed occupancy rate, it is number of IPDs, that is number of inpatient admission divided by the bed days into 100. This is what is bed occupancy rate, and they both are used for assessing that how many people are actually utilizing your services, right? शू वाला क्वेश्चन में सेकेंडरी कब होगा और टर्शरी कब होगा, कंसाइज अगेन. चलो अभी करता हूं मैं. आई विल कम बैक टू दिस क्वेश्चन. सो बेड टर्नओवर रेशियो इज अ टाइप ऑफ व्हाट इंडिकेटर? हेल्थ केयर सर्विस इंडिकेटर, यूटिलाइजेशन इंडिकेटर, डिसेबिलिटी और सोशियो इकोनॉमिक. इट इज अ यूटिलाइजेशन. देयर इज अ lateral MCQ over here, a separate MCQ point. I would like you to know that how do you evaluate a health service? How do you evaluate a health service? The health services can be evaluated. If you want to evaluate how are the health services doing in a small town which is near maybe Gwalior, in a small town, very small rural area near Gwalior, how do you think is the health services in that place? Okay. You want to talk about that small area. So you talk about, are there any health centers? Yes or no? Structure indicator. Then you talk about policy indicator. Is there a sub-health center? Is there a PHC? Is there a doctor available? Yes or no? Ambulance is there? Yes or no? Next is you also evaluate based on the process. Process evaluation is the most essential. It is the most important level of evaluation. Process means how comfortable the doctor is in diagnosing the patients. Do they have the good clinical judgment to diagnose the patient and treat the person? So that whole thing is called as process indicator. In terms of you are preparing for your INICET exam, okay? Do you have a mobile phone and an internet connection? That is what is a policy or a health service structure indicator. But how will my teaching will be? Are you aware about my understand about my teaching? Are you totally in line with me, or are you just keeping mobile phone in front of you and seeing me and thinking about your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your parents, or your brother, sister, or about anything, or you are dreaming that what if I top INICET exam? You might be doing this. So these all are process indicator. Process is how good you are actually using those things. So very important, this can be asked in your exam, that which of the following is the most important to evaluate a structure. It is about the process indicator, right? So that was about this question. A few things about mortality and morbidity indicators. Beta, what do you mean by morbidity? Morbidity. ऐसे these are just डरावने words. They don't mean anything. These are just useless things. In your exam, they will just scare you by these words. Morbidity means sickness. Morbidity means incidence and prevalence of a disease. Whenever we talk about the most common cancer, है ना, some faculties, some institutes, some books, and some people have started saying that most common cancer, when they talk, is about the prevalence of cancer, which is wrong. So one student asked me this doubt, that most common cancer, if you say is the most common cancer is the breast cancer, are you talking about the most common incidence? Like what is the incidence or the prevalence? Beta, we are talking of the incidence. Prevalence की तो बात ही नहीं कर सकते ना. How can you talk about prevalence? We say that the most common cancer in year 2022 was breast cancer. Most common cancer in year 2021 was breast cancer among males or females or whatever. We talk about incidence, number of new cases of that cancer. So whenever we are talking about the most common, we talk about incidence. Whenever we are talking about the burden of disease, prevalence will talk about the burden of disease. How many people actually have that disease? So these are the two important morbidity indicators. Then you have is the mortality indicators, that about mortalities, that is deaths. Mortality indicators, we can have something called as CDR. What is CDR? Crude death rate. It is a crude death rate, that is like how many total number of deaths, total deaths in the country, divided by the total population in the country, multiplied by 1000 or multiplied by 10,000, whatever number, usually we take 1000, that is what is a crude death rate. You can also assess mortality by using a case fatality rate. What is case fatality rate? It is total number of deaths due to a disease divided by total cases of that disease, multiplied by 100, that is what is case fatality rate. These are two important mortality indicators. So we can also have a positive mortality indicator, that is life expectancy. Okay. Any other doubt, beta? A few things about mortality, morbidity. Bol diya beta Sneha. That was for you. Thank you for your teaching. Yes, you should not make any mistakes in your exam. If you have any doubt, you feel free to ask me. And अगर वो मुझे भी आता हुआ है and अगर मैं confused ना हुआ, I will try my best to explain them to you. So any doubts you have, just let me know. अच्छा, एक अनुश्री क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे थे दैट शू वाला क्वेश्चन में सेकेंडरी कब होगा एंड टर्शरी कब होगा. Let us say you all are very good students. Let us say you all are very good students. And let us say I say that you all are wearing shoes right now. Of course, you might be in your home, इतनी रात हो गई है. तो अभी आप घर में बैठे हो, आपने अपना शूज़ पहने हुए, जूता पहना हुआ है. सो चप्पल पहनी है, सैंडल पहना है. वट एवर यू आर वेयरिंग, वाई डू यू वेयर शूज? इट इज लेवल ऑफ वट लेवल? इज इट अ प्राइमोडियल लेवल, प्राइमरी लेवल, सेकेंडरी लेवल या टर्शरी लेवल? अगर आप जनरल पीपल, आई एम वेयरिंग चप्पल राइट नाउ, इफ आई एम वेयरिंग माई, ऑफकोर्स नीचे शॉर्ट्स होंगे एंड दैट्स हाउ आई एम ड्रेस्ड ऑन टॉप, है ना. नीचे तो निक्कर होगी और नीचे चप्पल होगी. सो अगर तभी मैं खड़ा भी नहीं होता. So please note that if I tell you that I'm wearing a chappal right now, why do I wear chappals? What type of prevention is it? Is it a primordial prevention, primary, secondary or tertiary? It is a primary level of prevention. Why do I say primary? Because it is not primordial. It is a primary level of prevention. Why primary? Because it will tell us, because it will help me stay my feet safe from any disease. Next is if we are giving some shoes to people with disease who are at risk of any injury, कोई डिजीज है जहां पे दे नीड सम बेटर शूज, हु आर एट रिस्क ऑफ एनी इंजरी. नाउ व्हाट इज दिस हैपनिंग? द पीपल आर ऑलरेडी हैविंग द डिजीज. The people are already having the disease and you are preventing the complication. This is a secondary level of prevention. Third is in case we are giving shoes with high soles. Shoes with high sole to polio patient, to polio case, जिसका लिम्ब शॉर्टनिंग है, दैट इज रिहेबिलिटेशन. या फिर हम कहते हैं प्रोस्थेसिस. इफ वी गिव प्रोस्थेसिस टू पीपल हु हैव एम्प्यूटेटेड लिम्ब और उनको शूज दिया, दीज आर व्हाट आर लेवल्स ऑफ टर्शरी लेवल ऑफ प्रिवेंशन. इट्स नॉट अबाउट द शू. शू इज देयर ऑल द टाइम. इट कुड बी अ प्राइमरी लेवल प्रिवेंशन, secondary or a tertiary level. Tertiary in case we are talking about prosthesis or with high soles to polio case who has already had a limb shortening, so you are making them able again because they got the disability. So that is what is a tertiary level of prevention. I hope it is very clear, and let us move to the this is just one related MCQ very quickly. A good indicator about the availability, utilization and effectiveness of health services. What do you think is the availability, utilization and effectiveness of the health of the service in the country? Which of the following is the best indicator? Disease specific mortality, bed occupancy rate, infant mortality or maternal mortality? What do you think you're going to mark as the best answer? What do you think you're going to mark as the best answer? Just now we have already discussed this about the availability, utilization. The best answer would be bed occupancy rates. They all have been very frequently asked in your exam. It is about availability, utilization and effectiveness. Sorry, not effectiveness. Sorry. It is not availability, utilization and effectiveness of the health service in the country. The best answer is infant mortality. Absolutely correct. It is infant mortality. Sorry, that was just my bad. When we are talking about effectivity, effectiveness and availability and effectiveness of the indicators or the health services, it is infant mortality rate. It is not bed occupancy rate. It is infant mortality rate. Okay. Very quickly, just cruising through this. Very quickly, just cruising through all of the total communication. This is maybe a new word for you. What do you mean by total communication? What do you think is meaning by total communication? Use of all methods of communication for advertisements, use of all methods for communication or school teaching, use of all methods for communication for community participation, using every communication option to the deaf child. What do you think is the best answer? So it's a very direct MCQ. We use this. This is a technical term, total communication. It is used for teaching a deaf child. It is used for teaching a deaf child. That is what is a total communication. Total communication is for teaching a deaf child, where you use all types of communication modalities in terms of visual, perception, handheld, every type of communication is used. It is, of course, you might think it might be using for community participation. C is also true, D is also true, but it's a technical word, so D is the correct answer. D is the best correct answer. Match the correct pair. Just two more MCQs, 2-3 more MCQs. Match the correct pair. Crowd is for gathering of population for multiple reasons. Mob is emotionally charged. Herd is people get together without any motive or leadership. Attitude is temporary and influenced by motivation. What do you think? Match the correct pair. Match the correct pair. What do you think? Crowd, gathering for multiple reasons. Mob is emotionally charged group of people. Herd is people get together without any motive or leadership. Attitude is temporary. And what all? So please note, if you talk about this, is a very important flashcard for you. This is a 7-star flashcard. Very frequently you get questions from this. What do you mean by crowd, mob, herd, culture, acculturation, forest, folkways and mores, attitudes, habits and practice? So if I just want to tell you some things about this, crowd beta, it is a gathering of people for single reason, for single intent. So people get together just to watch a movie, that is a crowd. People get together to watch how the accident took place, that is a crowd of people. So it should be a single intent. Mob is emotionally charged, this is correct, this is true option. Mob is emotionally charged. Herd is people get together without any motive. No, there is a motive and a leadership. So herd will always have a leader. Attitude is not temporary, it is permanent. Attitude is permanent. It is we say that is uska attitude hi aisa hai. He has a bad attitude, he has a good attitude. Attitude is permanent and it is not influenced by motivation. It is just how the people are built. So which of the following is the correct answer? Mob is emotionally charged people. Crowd is wrong answer. This is false. Herd is false and attitude is false. This is very important table for you. This is important flashcard for you. Make sure that you take a screenshot and you remember this for your exam. There's one question about this. Internalization occurs in which model of the health education? So there are different models of health education, and one of you, Ritvika Jha, she also asked a question on this, like talking about the motivation model or the health belief model. So internalization occurs in which model of the health education? Different models are there. Medical model, you can have social, environmental model, service model, or the motivation model. If you talk about the approach, there could be a service approach where we say that you all are students and we will provide service at your doorstep. It was seen that when the doorstep service was provided, like basic health services, people did not adopt that very nicely. So service approach did not work very nicely. Talking about the health education, where people should be educated to take their own choices about their life. So if you go to first world countries, maybe UK and Canada and Australia, people are more healthily aware. They are knowing about the risk factors and they take care about the risk factors. So that is what is health education approach, where the understanding and the knowledge level of the people on the population as a whole would increase. So this is one of the most effective. It is one of the most effective type of healthcare services that we can offer. Then is primary healthcare approach, where we take that the emphasis on community participation, that people should participate. ASHA workers should be there. So they are involved in planning of the health services. This is the most effective approach in India. So which is the ideal approach? Ideal approach or the best approach is what is health education model. But the most effective service model that works in India is a primary healthcare approach, where we say that people education will take more time, right? So we say that rather than educating people, of course we are trying to educate people, that is where we want to reach to. But before that, let us say that there are a group of people which take that, okay, one of you will be the monitor and they will take care of the whole system. That is what we are currently following in India. This is a primary healthcare approach. Now talking about different models, where do we have internalization? Internalization means that thing has embedded into me. So there are phases, phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 of the models. These are motivation models. So first is, let us say that I ask you to attend the PSM Punch weekly sessions. So I will put some social media things, that is I will create awareness, and you may be interested कि यार सुने तो सही क्या कहता है मुखमोहित आके. So that is creating awareness and you guys may be interested. Let's go and see. Then is you come to this class and then you evaluate that how did the teaching go? Did you benefit from the class? Yes or no? You evaluate and then you try it. And last is the adoption. Adoption means internalization. You adopt it, that it becomes a habit for you to listen to these classes or disseminate them to different people. So that is what people want to achieve at the end of the day, internalization. Internalization means adoption of that particular habit. Good habit, usually in terms of good habit, or this is what is a motivation model. So first, in a motivation model, I have to make you aware that, okay, this is how the PSM Punch will look like. So this is what I started my game with. This is what I started the whole story with. This is what is PSM Punch. So in 5 weeks, I will try to cover the whole of PSM. So I made you aware that this is what I am going to do in the classes. This is what I'm going to do in the classes. That is what is awareness. Second is you evaluate and try you on the social media. And last is you attend and you adopt that internalization. So this is what is motivation model. It is the main force to translate health transformation into desired health action. And different models of health education can be there: medical model or social intervention model. Social intervention is group supports are there. Medical model is where there is people are being told that this is how we are doing to do and treat and prevent a disease. Example for medical model is HPV vaccines. You know, Sarvavac vaccine, which is a quadrivalent indigenously Indian built cervical cancer vaccine. It has been incorporated into the program. We have the fractional IPV incorporated into the program. This is a medical model. Social intervention model example is the ASHA worker. We have is the Anganwadi worker. They are also helping in disease prevention. So different models of health education can be adopted and they can be used in the system. So internalization occurs in which model of health education? Medical model, maybe yes or no. Social intervention, yes, definitely. Service model, yes or no, it's usually not there. Motivation model is the best answer because that actually leads to internalization or adoption of the process. Adoption of the process. That is what is motivation model. So these different types of models can be asked to you in your exam. You just need to know a brief about their names. A very important act which was there, that is regarding COPRA. COPRA Act, that is Consumer Protection and Rights Action. So COPRA Act, how many rights are protected under the COPRA Act? 4, 6, 8 or 20. So please note that the Consumer Protection Act 1986, it has total 6 rights. It has 6 rights. Safety, information, people should be informed. People should feel safe. That is right to safety. People should be informed. People have to choose the treatment, choose the doctor. You have the full right to choose whatever you want to do. You have the right to be heard in case there is some problem. There is a readdressal forum, that is in case there is some grievance or to seek any readdressal, and there is a right to consumer education. So these are the 6 elements of the COPRA Act, Consumer Protection and Rights Act of India 1986. A small question, the gap in time between onset of the primary case and secondary case. What do you think? This is super duper easy MCQ. The gap in time between onset of the primary case and secondary case, this is called as the serial interval. This is called as serial interval. What is serial interval? It is the time period between the primary case and the secondary case. What is incubation period? It is the time between entry of organism and first sign and symptom. Time between entry of organism and first sign and symptom. What is generation time? Time between entry of microorganism and the maximum communicability. Communicability. It is the time difference between entry of organism and maximum communicability. Right? Of one question, 2 questions more. One is about nutritional rehabilitation centers. I have discussed this many times, but this can come in any of your INICET exams. What is NRC centers? So all are correct about NRC except, all of the following are correct about NRC except. Initial phase is the stabilization phase. F100 diet is a catch-up diet. Iron, vitamin A, zinc are given as supplements in the starter diet. F75 has lower protein compared to F100. Which of the following is a wrong one? Which of the following is a wrong one? What do you think? Which of the following is the wrong answer? So what do you think is the wrong answer over here? Please write down. I'm waiting for your answers. Last live question, iron not there. Oh yeah, we have already discussed this sometime in your last session also, that iron is not a part of the, I think I remember it now, that iron is not a part of the whole game of the initial stabilization phase. So beta, just a very quick review about the nutritional rehabilitation centers. Nutritional rehabilitation centers, these are for SAM children. SAM is severely acute malnourished children. You have as the three phases: stabilization phase, transition phase, and the maintenance phase. Please remember that in stabilization phase, you take the F75 diet. In the transition phase, we take is the F100 diet. In the transition phase, we take is the F100 diet. In the stabilization phase, we take is the F75 diet, and that is what is nutritional rehabilitation center. So initial phase is stabilization. This is true. F100 is in the catch-up. Catch-up is the transition diet, right? The first diet is the starter diet. This is also true. Iron, vitamin A are given in the starter diet. This is false. Why? Because iron is not a component. F75 has lower. This is also true. Let us go to another MCQ. Could you briefly explain point on candela, lux, lumen? Just last question and then we close off this session. Last question and then we close off this session. After this, I'll be taking your doubt, Noshin Kulsum. Last question of the day. Which of the following is incorrect for the Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme? What do you think? Which of the following is incorrect for the Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme? What do you think is incorrect about the Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme? Is under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. It provides midday meals for school going children. It also includes Bal Vatika and preschool children to provide daily midday meals for students up till class 8. Which do you think is incorrect? Which is the wrong answer over here? What do you think is the wrong answer? Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme. What do you think is the wrong answer? Many students are saying option number D, provide midday meals for students up till class 8. So what do you think is the wrong element in this? What do you think is the wrong element? What do you think is the wrong element? Beta, please note that there are two types of Poshan schemes now in India. We have two types of Poshan scheme. One is under the Ministry of Education. Another is Ministry of Women and Child Development. So one is under the Ministry of Education, another is under the Women and Child Development. This Ministry of Women and Child Development, and of course it is more with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So both these ministries, they work together and they started with this Poshan Abhiyan. It is with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and Women and Child Development, because it talks about the child development and health and family welfare. They started with this Poshan Abhiyan. But very cleverly, the Ministry of Education, they also started a Poshan scheme that is called as Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme. Please note that both have this word Poshan into it, but one is a Poshan Abhiyan, another is a Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme. A very quick review. This is a flashcard. I have shared it so many times with you in many platforms. Everybody must be knowing about this Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme. And you have is the Poshan Abhiyan. Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme, the above scheme, this is under the Ministry of Education. Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme is under Ministry of Education. Please note, it is for all Bal Vatika students. It is for all Bal Vatika students and up till class 8. It is for all Bal Vatika students. We are giving 450 calories up till primary class and 700 calories for upper primary. Now this is under Ministry of Education. Now under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, we have is the Poshan Abhiyan, where we are talking of decreasing the low birth weight and decreasing the anemia in children. So low birth weight to be decreased by 2% and anemia to be decreased by 3% every year. This Poshan Abhiyan was started for 3 years. So please remember, these are some of the important schemes over here. So if you talk about which of the following is incorrect, beta, incorrect about Poshan Shakti, it is not under Women and Child Development, it is under Ministry of Education. So many of you answered correctly. It is to provide midday meals. This is true. Bal Vatika students, that is preschool children, that is also true. Provide midday meals till class 8, this is also true. So all were true except the option number A. A very quick review about Poshan Shakti Nirman Scheme. It is a rename of the National Midday Meal Scheme. Poshan Shakti Nirman Scheme, it is a rename of the National Midday Meal Scheme. Remember, it is for Bal Vatika till 8th class. Primary class 450 calories, upper primary 700 calories. Poshan Abhiyan, we already talked, it is for decreasing anemia by 3%, low birth weight by 2%. There is another important update, of course not an update but a thing for you to remember. Jai Vigyan, it is about the rheumatic fever. There are 4 elements in Jai Vigyan to find the rheumatic fever prevalence, to find the prevalence of strep infection, deeper understanding of rheumatic fever, and to promote rheumatic fever vaccine, rheumatic heart disease vaccine development, right? Last is about the PMJ. There is something called as the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, where we are giving the 50 crore population, 10 crore families, 5 lakh. Plus, we have also started with the second element of the Jai Vigyan, of the Ayushman Bharat scheme, that is to have health and wellness centers. Health and wellness centers are available with a post of CHO. What is CHO? That is Community Health Officer, right? So that was a quick review about all these newer schemes. Now coming to your question, what did she wanted to ask? Somebody was asking about something. Yeah, about points in candela. Beta, please note that if there is a light somewhere, let us say there is point about light somewhere. Let us say there is a candle somewhere, How much light, how much bright that candle is. There are some time diya, if you take Deepavali diya, some diya will have very less light, some diya will have more light because the wick is thicker or whatever. So if the light at the source, mark the words, there are 4 things I have to explain. The first is light. The first is light at the source. Light at source. This is the first thing. This is brightness of the source. This is measured in candela. This is measured in candela. Remember that if there is a candle and how much bright this candle is, that is what is candela. Next is, if you have seen that if you go to a marriage function, there will be that box is there and inside there is light, and you stand in front of the box, you have very good diffuse light. So that is something about the flow of the light. So how good is the source of the light? How good is this bulb? That is what is candela. But how is the source, flow of the light? Is it a diffuse light? Is it a focused light? This flow of light, please remember the flow of light. The second element is about the flow of light. The second element is about the flow of light. This is what is luminous flux. It is, remember, flow of light, that is what is flux. And how is it measured? How is the luminous flux measured? It is measured in lumens. It is measured in lumens. So there are 2 things. One is how bright the source is. If you have light somewhere in your room, think about how bright the source is. Second is, you think that if it is a tube light, if there is a bulb, how is the flow of the light? Third is how far your copy pen or you are sitting away from the light. That is how far you are away from the light. That is the light reaching surface. If you are sitting very far off from a light in the room was here, let us say a big room is there and there is a light over here and the person is sitting over here. Whatever brightness it could have, whatever brightness, whatever flow, but the light reaching the surface will be less. On the other hand, let us say there was a very small room. Let us say there was a small room and the light is here and you are sitting here. So whatever the flow of the light would be, whatever is the source, brightness source, you are sitting very near to the light. If you are near to the light, that means the light reaching surface will be less, more. So there is the third element, that is how much light is reaching your surface. How will you assess the third element, that is the light reaching surface? Light reaching surface of the whatever surface you are sitting in. How will you assess the light reaching surface? This surface is what is illumination. How do you measure illumination? It is measured in, now tell the answer, it is measured in lux. Please note, illumination is measured in lux and lumens. These are the 2 most frequently used parameters in public health or whenever we are talking about the light. Now there is a fourth element also. Now let us say that in your room right now, wherever you are sitting and looking at the screen and you're watching this video, let us say you are sitting in a room where you are working on a glass table, or you have a lot of white things in the room, or nothing is there, then the brightness of a single tube light will be much more. Or in case, let us say you are sitting in an area or in a room where the light, because it is night time, the light is less, but you have too many furniture is there or too many things are there, then automatically the room lightness will become dull. So how much light reaches surface and it reflects back, that is also going to define the light in the room. So that reflection going back, so one is how bright the candle is, candela. Next is flow, that is you measure the luminous flux, that is the lumens. You measure the light reaching surface, that is the lux. And last is reflection back. Reflection back is what is, how much is reflected back. This reflected back is how much it is re-emitted. It is measured in re-emitted reflection Lambert. It is measured in light reflected back or re-emitted. This is called as brightness luminescence. It is luminescence. And this is measured in Lambert. It is measured in Lamberts. So you have four things to remember: Lambert, lux, lumens, and candela. Candela is for brightness of source. Flow is measured by the lumens. The light reaching surface is measured by the lux, and how much light is re-emitted, that is what is Lambert. So these are what you need to remember for your exam. Any other doubt, just let me know. I think everybody has understood. For verification, medicine remaining in the vial is blue. है medicine, but if anti-cancer drug vial is yellow. नहीं बेटा, MA. No, that is wrong. Medicine in vial is not blue. What is this? This is where did it go? Sorry. What is this? This broken glass, broken ampule, empty vial. These are empty vials, not filled up vials. If there is medicine in the vial, it has to go into the yellow category. Yellow category, discarded medicines, empty medicines, cytotoxic drugs. Only thing is cytotoxic will be different. Cytotoxic will be different bags. Okay, so that was all regarding for today's session. And question is next, when will we be having questions on biostats? Next week, it is the last week number 4, that is epidemiology. Next week we are going to discuss about epidemiology, biostats and screening, and by that time I want everybody to be very nicely prepared in biostats, because I'm not going to teach biostats. It's not possible to take a session on biostats. I'll be cruising through the important problems and important MCQs in biostats. So I'll be taking up the problems and the MCQs in biostats. I will not be teaching. You have to prepare yourself and then be attentive in the session in case you want to prepare for biostats for INICET exams. So epidemiology, biostats and screening of disease will be next week on 19th April. And till that time, I will give you a daily plan on how to approach biostats. I will be giving that to you. And in case you have not yet joined me on Telegram, you should join this Telegram channel, because you are going to discuss all the MCQs and all the updates, and all the files are being shared on the Telegram group. And of course, in case you are a Marrow subscriber, Marrowlink's Facebook group is one of the immense active group and immensely active group and very authentic group where you have all the answers by all the experts. My Facebook page is mostly for updates and Instagram is mostly for updates. You should be following either on Facebook or on Instagram. And this is one resource from psmsimplified.com. I told about this last time as well. So I know it's a very long session today. It was supposed to be a long session, and thank you so much for keeping yourself updated to that level, and thank you for attending this whole boring session on environment, nutrition, miscellaneous topics here and there. Sir, PSM Booster 23 can be read for INICET. Yes, definitely. You have a special book. I wrote it on for all these exams. touch PSM. I don't know if you have ever heard about this one touch PSM. One touch PSM is full PSM in 40 pages. 40 pages one touch PSM. Chalo yaar, it's night time now. Let's time to go to sleep, and you all should be continuing your studies. NEET PYQs are also important. I've heard there are many NEET. Yeah, I took all the topics which have been asked in previous 1 to 2 years. I didn't see whether it was NEET or FMG or UPSC question or INICET questions, but predominantly INICET questions, they tend to repeat themselves. So that was all regarding for the session today. I think you should have benefited, and keep on revising. All the very best. Have a good night. एंड मेक श्योर नेक्स्ट वीक पढ़ के आना. जो पढ़ के नहीं आएगा मैं बार बार एक्सप्लेन नहीं करूंगा चीज़ें. दिस इज नॉट अ टीचिंग क्लास, दिस इज ओनली डाउट सॉल्विंग क्लास. इफ यू हैव अ डाउट यू आस्क मी. आई एम नॉट हेयर टू टीच द होल स्टोरी. फॉर टीचिंग लेक्चर्स आर देयर. मैरो पूरा सब्सक्राइब करो. मैरो 6.5 वर्जन है. एवरीथिंग इज देयर, राइट? दिस इज नॉट अ टीचिंग सेशन. इट इज ओनली फॉर डाउट सॉल्विंग एंड ऑल द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस. ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट. टेक केयर. गुड नाइट एंड बाय बाय. सी यू.